What's up my bro, Tundrum here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be showing you 10 cards from Eldritch Moon that see almost no EDH play that I reckon in a way are EDH staples. None of these cards I've ever seen see any play, or very minimal, maybe only 1 or 2 games, when really they are all insane in EDH and should have received a lot more attention. So, without further ado, let's get into the video by looking at some honourable mentions, which are all of the Emerge Eldrazi. Now these are all super solid Eldrazi from Eldritch Moon, of course, that see almost no EDH play. You aren't restricted, well you are restricted to having them in their colours that have Emerge, so you can't just put them in any deck. But even so, I think they're super solid. All of them have a really good cast trigger that generates you tons of value, even if the creature gets countered. They're all a massive body, and you can use them to sack a creature, which can sometimes be an upside, and make them cast for way less. Like, Mockery of Nature here, it destroys an artifact or enchantment when you cast it. Wretched Griff draws you a card, and Decimator of the Provinces gives all your guys 2/2 and Trample and Haste. And these aren't even the strongest of the Eldrazi. Like, for example, Elder Deep Fiend. It's just insane. These should definitely receive a lot more attention and deserve more EDH play. Now coming in at number 10, this was a bit of a skeptical one whether to put on the list, but I've got Sanctifier of Souls. It's a 4-mana 2/3, and it says whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, it gets 1/1 until end of turn. And then you can pay 3 mana to exile a creature card from your graveyard to create a 1/1 spirit. Now I'm like, I'm not sure I should include this, but it can get infinitely big if you have lots of ETBs, or infinite ETB combo, which pays off for that. For 3 mana, creating a 1/1 spirit, it's a great mana sink, and you're almost always going to have a creature or two to do that off. It can get really big if you're playing lots of stuff, and the Spirit Engine is also can be a payoff for infinite mana. I actually think it's a really nice combo payoff, and I actually think it should see a little bit of play. Maybe actually less so than the honourable mention, but I definitely think it is worth a little bit more play, as I have never, ever seen this card played anywhere. Not on someone else's deck tech, not on playing EDH at my local game store, ever. So it definitely should see some more attention. Coming in at number 9, we have Dawson to Perfection. Dawson to Perfection, this card is very powerful. I have seen it see a teeny bit of play. I saw it once in a wizard deck, but really, it sees nowhere near enough play as it should. It's a 5-mana 5/4, flying Insect Horror, which is already a good rate, but then, when you cast an instance or sorcery spell, you create a 1/1 blue wizard. This on its own would be pretty good, and just about make the list. But then it says if you control 3 or more wizards, you transform it, which it then transforms into a 6/5 flying, which is an incredible rate for 5 mana, still makes the 1/1s, and it gives all your wizards 2/1 and flying, as well as if you have other wizards that buffs them, your 1/1s also get buffed. So imagine if this is 5 mana for 6/5 flying, that whenever you cast an instance or sorcery spell, you create a 3/2 flying. That's almost what this does. It's almost that strong. It's an incredible card and should see way more play than it does. Definitely worth putting in any blue EDH deck that has at least, 25% instants and sorceries. Coming in at number 8, we have Grizzled Angler, which transforms into Grizzly Anglerfish. Now, Grizzled Angler, it's a 3-mana 2/3 human, and it says tap to mill yourself for 2. Then, if there's a colourless creature card in your graveyard, you get to transform it. So this is nice. It can mill you for quite a few cards over the course of the game. And most decks do have a few colourless creatures, like, Solemn Simulacrum is in most decks. So this is pretty good. Good in a deck that involves mill, or even just good in any deck. But then once you manage to flip it, it transforms into a 4/5 Eldrazi fish, which is a decent body, but that's not what we want it for. It says 6 mana, creatures your opponents control attack this turn if able. So, your opponent's got all their creatures, might not have very high power and toughness, like just utility abilities, that type of thing. You use this ability, and bang, you've just pretty much wiped their board. This can help eat stuff that's attacking you as well. And being able to do this once or twice every turn of the table, it's incredible. It can completely change the game and is a very solid mana sink. Amazing card. Coming in at number 7, we have Ruthless Disposal. This is a 5 mana sorcery, and it says as an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature, and discard a card. This looks pretty bad. It best do something quite powerful. Well, yes it does. 2 target creatures get minus 13/13 until end of turn. This is broken. In EDH, most black decks actually have a lot of payoff for sacking creatures and discarding cards. Like I run this in my Geezer and Giraffe zombie deck, and casting this to sack a creature and discard a card, if anything, is just an upside, because I often would rather have it in the graveyard than in my hand. But then to give 2 creatures minus 13/13, this is game changing. Almost nothing can survive minus 13/13, even if it has indestructible, it just destroys it. This just destroys the 2 biggest threats on the table, and it comes with even if your deck doesn't utilise the second discarded card, it's still a minor downside. It can completely destroy your enemies. This card is actually ridiculously strong, and outside of myself, I've never seen this see any other play anywhere whatsoever, so it should definitely receive a bit more attention. Coming at number 6, we have Kryptolife Fragment. Now, this is an alright mana rock, but it does have a massive upside. So it's a 3 mana artifact, and it says it enters the battlefield tapped. So it's not that good. But then you can tap to add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. So it's one of those 3 mana tap for any colour mana rocks. There are a lot of those out there, and there are definitely ones with a better rate than this. But it says, then each player loses 1 life. You might go, oh, that's such a minute amount. Over the course of the game, if they don't deal with this, which they're often not going to, most people don't think it's very scary, this is going to deal 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or even like 10 plus damage over the course of a game, which is actually an incredible amount of damage. It really adds up. I recently made a list for Liza, and I didn't really know about this card, and this would have been broken in the deck. It's insane. But then, as well as being this nice extra life that really starts to hurt your opponents, if each player has 10 or less life, it then flips into a 1/4 flying death touch, which says when it attacks, each opponent loses 3 life. So this, as well as ramping you and tapping for any colour, which is pretty solid, it really starts to drain people out super quick, well not super quickly, but over the course of the game it can deal a lot of damage. And then if everyone starts to get to low life, it suddenly transforms into a massive threat that will kill your opponents in 2 or 3 turns. Incredible card, definitely worth the include in a lot of EDH decks. Coming in at number 5, I have all of the good escalate cards. So this is pretty much all of the uncommon and rare escalate cards. Now all of these offer so much value and versatility for 3 mana, but almost none of them see play. Collective Defiance, for example. For a mere 3 mana, it either deals 4 damage to a creature, 3 damage to an opponent, or target player replaces their hand, discards all the cards, then draws that many cards. This is really solid on its own with all these options, plus you can escalate it. So if you pay 4 mana, you get 2 of the options, and if you pay 5 mana, you get all of the options. Collective Brutality. You can destroy a small creature, drain your opponents, or reveal their hand and discard stuff. This is only 2 mana, and you can choose any of those options, plus you can escalate it by discarding cards. Blessed Alliance will completely blow out an enemy's attack on its own, but if you can escalate it, it will just demolish them. Collective Effort buffs all your creatures, can destroy an enchantment, or can destroy a powerful creature. Savage Alliance can board wipe a token board, destroy a slightly bigger creature. They just give your creatures trample, just give you so many options, all of these cards. All of them should see way more play, and outside of a few games where I've seen Collective Brutality, I've never seen any of these cards see any play whatsoever, as with most of the other cards on this list. They're all incredible and should receive way more attention. Now, coming at number 4, I have a bit of a funny card. It's called Permeating Mass. It's 1 green for a run 1 free. But it says whenever this creature deals damage to a creature, that creature becomes a copy of Permeating Mass. This can be really fun. If you give this first strike, your opponents are never going to attack you, because it essentially says, when this creature blocks a creature, destroy that creature. And if you can go off with this and have 2 or 3 of them on the field, it will eventually get to the point where most creatures are just disabled because they'll become a copy of Permeating Mass. It's a really fun card. It's not so much super powerful, but it's really fun, and if you can give this, like, first strike, they're never going to want to attack you, because it essentially says, whenever an opponent attacks you, destroy one of their creatures. It's a really solid little card. I've had a lot of fun when I have played this, and I've never seen anyone else ever play it. Coming in at number 3, we have Harmless Offering. Now this card sees a teeny little bit of EDH play in specified decks, but nowhere near as much as it should. Harmless Offering, it's a 3-mana sorcery, and it says target opponent gains control of a permanent you control. Now you might think this is completely rubbish, but I'll get to why it isn't in a minute. But even just in regular scenarios, often you're going to want to help out an opponent, help them stop something, and they might need one of your things. Just giving it to them, that's good. It's actually not that bad. Like, in political games of EDH, you may actually consider doing this. But the reason why this is really strong is there is actually a lot of really bad cards that you can then gift to them. For example, I've got some of them here. Aggressive Mining. It essentially permanently makes them stick on the amount of lands they have unless they get artifact or enchantment removal, and a lot of colours don't have that. Demonic Pact. You get a lot of value off it, get you ahead, give it to them, an opponent then, if they can't deal with it, loses the game. Abyssal Prosecutor makes it so they can't win the game. There's just so many options. So I've got some other ones here. There's probably like about, 50 cards in EDH that will completely shut down an opponent if you gift it to them. This card does not see as much play as it should, and it's just a really fun card. Definitely worth seeing more play. Coming in at number 2, this is a card that does see a wee bit of EDH play. I've probably seen it maybe 3, 4, maybe even 5 times, but not very much. It should go into nearly every white EDH deck. It's a 2-mana 2/1 flying, which is nice, can get him for quite a bit of damage early on, but then it says sacrifice it for creatures you control, gain indestructible until end of turn. This is broken. You'll often even do this just to save one of your creatures, one of your powerful creatures. But often, you play a board wipe, or they play a board wipe, this just saves your whole board. They play mass removal, saves your whole board. Extremely powerful card, really annoying for your opponents to deal with, and is just an incredible card that should go into almost every white deck. Now coming at number 1, this is an incredible EDH card that sees very minimal play, when I think it's actually, I reckon this could go into an argument for one of the top 10 strongest cards in the format, in my opinion, but it sees almost no play. Coming at number 1, we have Providence. This is a really nice card. Reveal it from your opening hand, you lose 14 life, but when you're on lower life, you can then cast it and regen back up. No, I'm kidding, it's not Providence. Of course it's not Providence. When I started playing, I thought Providence was one of the best cards in the game, when I got it in my intro deck. But no, the real number 1, and all those things I said before are valid for this card, is Eldritch Evolution. Eldritch Evolution is a 3-mana sorcery, and it says, as an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. Then, search your library for any creature card with CMC X or less, where X is the sacrifice creature's mana cost, plus 2, and put it onto the battlefield. This card, I really mean this time, is busted. You play this, even on a 3-drop, like, there's so many things you just want to sack with this. You sack your, like, Wood Elves, or Dockside Extortionist, or Solemn Simulacrum. Suddenly, you can search your deck for the strongest creature in your deck, immediately play it, and start destroying your opponents. And if you play this on something bigger, like a 5 or a 6-drop, you just wreck your opponents. You get probably the strongest creature out of your deck that just changes the game, like an Avenger of Zendikar or something. Just here on the right, you can see some of the creatures you can get just by sacking a 2, 3, or 4-drop to this, let alone something like a 5, 6, or 7-drop. It's incredible. This can get you so much value. You get anything out of your deck. You often get an infinite combo piece and just win on the spot, that type of thing. Yeah, you can get a bomb, you can get a utility creature you really need at the time. It's just incredible. I reckon this is better than, I don't know, Demonic Tutor or Worldly Tutor. It's incredible. I don't know why this sees so little EDH play. I don't think I've ever seen it see play. I've put it in every single one of my green decks. When almost every game I've drawn it and resolved it, I have almost every. I have lost one game when this happened, but almost every game I've drawn this card and resolved it, I've won that game. It is such a powerful card, and is definitely worth the include in any green deck whatsoever, full stop. Incredible card. I don't know why this doesn't see play in every EDH deck. It's only a $2 card right now, so people aren't completely ignoring it, but still, this as a $2 card, pick up your playsets of these as soon as possible, because one day, everyone's going to realise how broken this card is, and it's going to absolutely spike. But yeah, guys, that completes the video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found some new cards to put in your EDH decks. If you want to see more from me, make sure to smash down on that subscribe button and leave a like on this video. And I hope to see you next time.